Okay, electrolytic refining. Many metals such as copper, zinc, tin, nickel, silver, iron, these are the refined electrolytically. Copper, zinc, tin, nickel, silver, iron, these are the refined electrolytically. In this process, the impure metal is made the anode. So impure metal is deposited at the anode, and a pure metal is made at the cathode, and pure metal is deposited at the cathode. Impure metal is deposited at the anode, and pure metal is deposited at the cathode. Cathode having the which charge electrode? Negatively charged electrode. Anode having which charge? Positively charged electrode. Okay, so pure metal is deposited at the cathode and impure metal is deposited at the anode. A solution of the metal salt is used as an electrolyte. In that electrolytic refining, we have to use the solution of the metal salt, okay, as a electrolyte. As electrolyte, we have to use the solution of the metal salt, okay. On passing the current, when we are passing the current through the electrolyte, what will happen? The pure metal from the anode dissolves into the electrolyte. Pure metal from the anode dissolves into the electrolyte. An equivalent amount of pure metal from the electrolyte is deposited on the cathode. Okay, when we are passing the current through the electrolyte, the pure metal from the anode dissolves into the electrolyte. An equivalent amount of pure metal from the electrolyte is deposited on the cathode. Okay, and whereas soluble impurities go into the solution, the soluble impurities go into the solution, whereas the insoluble impurities settle down at the bottom of the anode and are known as anode mud. Okay, and as known as anode mud. The soluble impurities go into the solution, whereas the insoluble impurities settle down at the bottom of the anode. This is called anode mud. Here, once you observe the electrolytic refining of copper, here this is a negative charge. Negative charged electrode is a cathode. This is a negative charged electrode is a cathode. This is a positive charged electrode is a anode. Okay, this is a acidified copper sulfate solution, metal solution. Okay, when we are passing the current, what will happen? That metals will, when we are passing the current through the electrolyte, which electrolyte? Acidified copper sulfate electrolyte. The pure metal from the anode, pure metal copper, okay, dissolves into the electrolyte. This pure metal from the anode dissolves into the electrolyte. An equivalent amount of pure metal from the electrolyte is deposited on the cathode. Okay, from the electrolyte, anode electrolyte, from the electrolyte, this copper will be moved to the deposited at the cathode. Okay, from the anode to the cathode. And at the anode, impurities such as some impurities is there, that impurities is deposited at the nearby anode at the bottom of the electrolytic solution. Okay, this is called anode mud. Anode mud means it is a impurities. Okay, this is a tank. In the tank we have to take in the salt solution. This is a acidified salt copper sulfate solution. Okay, this is a electrolytic refining process. This is called electrolytic refining process. By the electrolytic refining process, we have to obtain top of the activity series metals. Top of the activity series metals are we can obtain by the electrolytic refining method. Okay, and remaining moderately reactive metals, in that thermit is there. I will explain about the thermit in the next class. Okay, Okay, thank you all of you. Bye.